cancel culture and chill a little longer. Don't be so vulgar to each other. Can we cancel culture and chill a little longer? Don't be so vulgar. Cancel culture.
If we lack a civil society, we start going back.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Harry Jacobs, and I am the North of 60. I say good morning because it is morning for me. I don't know what time of the day it is for you. First, some housekeeping. First of all, I want to welcome everybody who has joined my channel last week or so. I've seen an influx of new subscribers, and I want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing and taking the time to watch my videos. And hopefully you're enjoying, and I hope you'll stay with me through the next year, and hopefully we'll survive the next COVID year. And things are moving along. As I say, things seem to be in flux. My vacation is in jeopardy again, and we'll see how that plays out over the next few months. But that's not what we're here today to talk about. So today we're going to get a little serious, and I'm going to set the backstory up a little bit, and we'll go from there. And I'm going to give you my opinion. It is based on a game that's currently on Kickstarter, a Facebook group, kind of how I handled it, and whether cancel culture should be allowed to exist on Facebook like that. It's not really a should. It's really, what is your opinion about cancel culture? How do you feel about games that are somewhat controversial in a material, perhaps? As a content creator, of course, we have to be careful, right? We're here, we're on the front lines, more or less, and we're bringing you content of games that I was asked to review. So that game is still out there on Kickstarter. It is not doing particularly well, unfortunately. I thought the game was rather good. So I was approached by another channel to do a video, which I did. I had some concerns. In my video, I clearly stated that this was a topic that would be controversial. I handled it by giving context to the game, because I think context and narrative is good. Now, the game wasn't strong on narrative, but basically the intellectual property that the game was based on was based on a time best suited to, big game hunting is frowned upon in current society. But back in the early 1800s through to the, Victorian age and maybe into the 1900s, big game hunting was done. Teddy Roosevelt himself went out and did big game hunting. Now, we don't do that for museums anymore. The New York Natural History Museum doesn't go out and hunt anymore. Teddy Roosevelt did a lot of hunting for that particular museum, and that collection is absolutely marvelous. They don't do it today. Some of the cards were controversial, and he had feedback from testers and other reviewers to say, look, there's some controversy here, and we're dealing with it. So when I did my review of my content, I made sure to ensure when I came across one of those cards, I said, well, I know what this card says, but it is going to change. Don't worry about it. It's going to change. We understand that in the testing and other reviewers, they've said there's controversy here. And kind of like think 5 tribes, right? 5 tribes had slaves, and they changed it. And this is what they're doing. They're going through that, and they're making those changes. So the Kickstarter went live, and then I got an email a day or two after the Kickstarter went live, and he said, there's a shitstorm brewing. Oh, really? Yes. And he said that one of the Facebook pages is basically trying to cancel him. And I went, like, really? Because none of the groups that I deal with said anything about it, quite frankly. And so I asked him what Facebook group, and he gave me that, and I went and looked. Now, I'm not going to tell you who the original poster is. I'm not going to tell you who the Facebook page is. I am not going to go down and try to cancel the cancel culture. This is an opinion piece about how I felt about what I saw. Now, my first reaction after reading all of them was to jump in and defend that a little bit. But then I thought, well, if I started to jump in, then do I get canceled? Do they start attacking me personally? Because it is an attack. Like, there were a couple of attacks on him personally, and that's not addressing the problem. The original poster basically said, and I'm just paraphrasing here because I don't have it in front of me, basically said, oh my God, what a piece of beep. And then he said shit. What a piece of shit. What did he think he's doing in this time of blah, 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 that he would design a game like this? These are taboo. We don't like it. We should just never do this. And he went on and on and on and on. And then all of a sudden, everybody was jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah, the game looks dull. Well, did you play it? Did you watch the video? Well, you didn't play it, but did you watch the videos? The game wasn't dull. The game was good. Now, it's a deck builder. I've seen other games similar to it. It's got a little bit of Dominion in there. It's got a little bit of Draconis in there. It didn't offer anything really, really new, but there was a couple of new mechanics in there that were interesting, and that I felt that it set it apart to say, yeah, this is new enough to put out there. Another guy goes, the artwork is dull. I've seen other games that are duller than this. I mean, I've got a collection, and I know that the art was good. It was adequate for what they were doing. And there were 175 posts all slamming this game. Now, first, I will mention that the two big boards that I'm on would have never let that happen. That would have been shut down within about 10 posts. Because we don't want that negativity in our community. And yet, this particular person, who, by the way, I looked up his profile and I saw some of his videos, maybe I have a higher tolerance for this particular subject that he was slamming that particular designer for. But I think context of a game is important. Now, I will tell you that I just played Hadrian's Wall. Should we cancel Hadrian's Wall because slaves built Hadrian's Wall? It says so in the book. The rules gave it some context and said, look, we have servants. We didn't want to call them slaves. Fair enough. 5 tribes started off with slaves, and they changed it to, I think, thieves or whatever they changed it to, or Jafars or something like that. They changed it. Endeavor has a game of slavery. Endeavor is a colonial-based expansion. It takes place, around in the 1800s, where you go around and take up little places, and there is a slavery card, and you can have slavery. Now, slavery also can be abolished. But should we cancel Endeavor? It is a good game. I think Jeremy Howard brought up a little while ago one of the games. I can't remember what it was. Maricombo had a little aspect of that. The same thing. I think context is important. I don't want slavery. I don't want big game hunting to be good. I don't want Holocaust to be... I was abhorred about Secret Hitler. Like, as a person, why would we want to talk about Hitler? Ew. If anybody in the world deserves to be canceled, that's that guy. But it's important to understand that we need to keep our history moving forward and understand the past to go forward in the future so that we don't make those same mistakes. Yes, big game hunting is bad. I don't want big game hunters. I don't like seeing those Facebook pages of that dentist and wherever who shot that lion in some park. Cause I don't want that. I don't want to see that. That guy got canceled. And he did. And media was pretty brutal. But I don't think that belongs in the gaming industry. I think he could have skinned the game differently. Yeah, we could have had orcs and goblins, and we were out hunting them. Nobody ever complained when Drizzt and Wolgar and Canterbury went out and killed a lot of orcs and goblins. So we could have skinned the game that way, and nobody would have batted an eye. Now, the game is somewhat based in literature. So he felt that, trying to create a game based on a specific African colonial time was okay to do because it was a literature. And I don't know whether that is a good thing or a bad thing. My opinion is that he took a stab at it and he's now paying for it, and hopefully he'll go back and perhaps maybe reskin the game, and because the mechanics are sound. And we give it a fantasy setting, and often fantasy or science fiction does tackle these matters, but because they're abstracted in a race or setting that is fantasy or fictional, we're okay with it. Okay, yeah, it's good to kill orcs and goblins. Well, it's or make slaves of them. I mean, those are the kinds of things that we wrestle with day to day. And slavery is still here. There is human marketing, and that is bad. I mean, I would not come out for say, hey, we should do a game on, hey, let's glorify human marketing. No, thank you. I wouldn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But to do something that's canceled in a so the point being, to do something in a non-constructive way, such as that original poster and that website or that Facebook page, just irks me in the wrong way. That you stood up and said that I don't like something just because of this, and gave no other reason. Said, he said, this is shit, we shouldn't be doing it, goodbye. And then everybody jumped on the bandwagon and started slamming the game. Now, I pasted it on one of mine sites and asked about it, and somebody said, yeah, I don't like the subject so much, but I'm going to check it out. Yes, check it out for yourself. And back or don't back. But don't don't cancel the guy because you're personally offended. Unless it's really, really bad. I mean, like, if there's, I agree with Jeremy Howard. If slavery is, up front and not covered in a context that makes sense, yeah, we don't want to back that game. Everything is context. Everything is narrative. Everything comes down to the context and narrative of the game. I think we have to, again, go back and put them in context to the time of which they existed, or what the author or designer was trying to show in that game. Now, I do agree that this was a very controversial game. I said so in my video. I put some context around it to try to bring that controversy down and try to bring to light that, we should look at it as a game. But yes, we have to be careful about what we do in that game. And when one of those cards came up, I took the card up and said, yes, we're going to change it. And I explained that earlier. So does cancel culture belong in the gaming industry like that? As a content creator, was I wrong to publish this game? I didn't think, or publish the content for this game. I didn't think so at the time. Thinking back, I did remove it from my personal channel because I rebranded it. I took it away from my personal channel because I had rebranded the original one into my personal brand. And I took it off because I was trying to somewhat distance myself because my brand wasn't involved with the original Kickstarter. It was another brand that I did work for. I got contacted to do work. I did work. I could have turned it down, but I didn't. I liked the game. I was able to comment. And I had the emails back to the designer saying, this is, a little bit risky. And he agreed. And he said, yes, that was borne out in the reviewers and, testing. And we're making changes. So I've rambled on. I think I've circled around a couple times here. I think I've have enough here to keep you going. Comment below, please. Let me know how you feel about cancel culture. If you know what game it is, or would like to know what game it is, I am not putting it here. Ping me if you can find me on Board Game Revolution or Board Games for One or something, and ask me, and I will certainly give you the link to the game. Or go out and find it on Kickstarter. I'm not going to help you. I'm going to try to just stay away and take a step back from this. But I felt it was important to have an editorial around this, that I don't agree with cancel culture. Now, I don't agree with, glorifying certain aspects of the world in a game either. But I thought I handled it well. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. If you want to see the video, please do let me know. I'll show it to you. You can comment to me personally and tell me whether I was, in V-edit terms, was I the asshole? Basically. Anyway, my name is Harry Jacobs. This is North of 60 Gaming. I am the North of 60 Gamer. I thank you for dropping in and watching this. I hope you did watch the whole thing. And we shall see you in the next videos. I have a number of videos coming up that I'm working on, and I have a couple Kickstarters I need to get to. Wow, I'm so busy, and I don't have a lot of time. So, I'm out of here. Goodbye.
So cancel culture and chill a little longer. Don't be so vulgar to each other. Can we cancel culture and chill a little longer? Don't be so vulgar.